and liquid metal corrosion. And dry corrosion will take place in absence of the moisture based on the attacking medium. If oxygen attack on the metal, that is known as the oxidation corrosion, and other than oxygen like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, if such kind of gases will attack on the metal, that is known as the corrosion by other gases. And the other type of dry corrosion is liquid metal corrosion, that will happen when a hot liquid metal is passing on the solid metal. And the wet corrosion it will takes place by the electrochemical attack of the environment on the metal surface. So the wet corrosion will takes place with two mechanisms that we have discussed in the previous class. 1 second, I will take one photograph. Please don't write anything on the screen, ma. Okay, the wet corrosion. Wet corrosion will take place with two mechanisms. One is the evolution of hydrogen type and the other one is the absorption of oxygen type of mechanism. So the evolution of hydrogen type of mechanism, this will take place when the metal is exposed to the medium which is acidic in nature. Like dilute acids, when they come in contact with the metal will undergo evolution of hydrogen type of mechanism, where at the anode oxidation of the metal will take place and at the cathode hydrogen gas will be evolved. So the overall reaction of the evolution of hydrogen type will be like this: Fe plus 2H plus gives rise to Fe plus 2 plus H2. So at the anode corrosion will take place and at the cathode hydrogen gas will be evolved in the evolution of hydrogen type of mechanism. The other type of wet mechanism or electrochemical corrosion mechanism is absorption of oxygen type of mechanism, and this type of mechanism will take place when the metal is exposed to either neutral medium or alkaline medium. So in this type of mechanism, completely rust is formed in between the anode and cathode. Whatever may be the type of electrochemical corrosion, always corrosion will take place at the anode and the cathode will be protected from the corrosion. So in this reaction, like coming to the reactions of the absorption of oxygen type, at anode iron will undergo oxidation so that Fe plus 2 ions will dissolute into the solution that is electrolytic medium, and at the cathode the atmospheric oxygen will react with the moisture and it will form the non-metallic ions. So at anode we will have the metallic ions and at cathode we'll have the non-metallic ions. These two ions will move together towards each other, and in between the anode and cathode the overall reaction, that is the combination of Fe+2 and OH- ion will takes place, and it will form first ferrous hydroxide. Again, after formation of ferrous hydroxide, if excess of oxygen is present in the air, then it will oxidize the ferrous hydroxide into ferric hydroxide, and which is known as the rust. The formula of rust is Fe2O3 3H2O. So up to this we have discussed in the previous class. Now coming to the other type of corrosion that is already discussed is the galvanic corrosion. This is also electrochemical corrosion, one type of electrochemical corrosion when two different metals combined together and combinedly when they are exposed to the corroding environment, means to any electrolytic solution, then this type of corrosion will take place. For example, if zinc and copper are connected, and when both of them are exposed to the corroding medium, as zinc is having high oxidation potential than the copper, zinc will act as the anode. So at the anode the oxidation of zinc will takes place, forming Zn+2 ions and electrons. So the electrons will move from zinc metal towards the copper. At the copper ions, because copper is acting as a cathode, their reduction reaction will takes place. So the copper ions will gain the two electrons and they will be converted to copper. So here in the galvanic corrosion, when two metals are combined and exposed to the environment, corrosive environment, then the metal which is having high oxidation potential will undergo corrosion, and the metal with low oxidation potential always that will be protected from the corrosion. In further type of corrosions also, this is the mechanism which is going to take place. So one more important type of corrosion, that is the concentration cell corrosion. So in concentration cell corrosion, whenever the metal is exposed to different concentrations of air or different concentrations of electrolyte, means on the same metal surface, if some part of the metal is exposed to high concentration of electrolyte and some part is exposed to low concentration of electrolyte, then on the metal surface itself corrosion will take place, and which is known as concentration cell corrosion, because it is due to the difference in the concentration of electrolytic solution. And sometimes what will happen is the same metal surface will be exposed to different concentration of air. For example, if we are having our class, imagine our classroom blackboard. So for the classroom blackboard, we will have one strip as a border. The backside of the border, it is experiencing less concentration of oxygen, whereas the border which is exposed to the air, that is having the high concentration of the air. So here also concentration cell corrosion will take place, and this is known as the differential aeration corrosion. For mesh, if we are having any mesh structure, so in the mesh, like if we are having that plus where the two metals are joined, at that plus, for the grills also where two metals are joined, at that joining the metal will feel less concentration of oxygen, and the remaining part of the metal will feel high concentration of oxygen. So in the concentration cell corrosion, what will happen is the part of metal which is exposed to the less concentration of air or oxygen, that will act as the anodic part and that will undergo corrosion. Whereas the part of metal which is exposed to high concentration of oxygen that will act as the cathodic part and it will be protected from the corrosion. In any type of corrosion, if part of metal is acting as the anode, means that will be corroded. Whereas if the part of metal is acting as the cathode, means that will be protected from the corrosion. So under the examples of concentration cell corrosion, we will discuss different types of corrosions. Like one is the waterline corrosion. This is in generally you can observe the water storage tanks. In the water storage tanks, the corrosion will takes place. For example, this is the line, border line of the water line. Below the border line of the water, rust will be formed because this is the area which is present between the anodic area and cathodic area. This type of corrosion is differential aeration corrosion, where if you observe this image, this part of metal which is free without water, this is having high concentration of oxygen because it is exposed to the air. So this part will act as the cathodic part, whereas the part of metal, the part of water tank which is covered with the water, that is having less concentration of air or oxygen. So this part will act as the anodic part. So at the anodic part, iron will undergo oxidation and the electrons will move through the metal to the cathodic part where the OH minus ions will be formed. Now after the formation of metallic and non-metallic ions, the metallic ions from the anode and non-metallic ions from the cathode will move towards each other, and in between the cathode and anode they will combine to form the ferrous hydroxide. Again, this ferrous hydroxide will oxidize to form the rust. So this is known as the waterline corrosion, which is an example for differential aeration corrosion, and which will take place due to the difference in the air exposed to the metal. One part of the metal, that is one part of the water tank, is exposed to high concentration of air, means that is highly oxygenated, which will act as a cathodic part, and some part of the metal which is exposed to a less concentration of air, that is poor oxygenated part, and that will act as the anodic part and that will be corroded. Whereas the corrosion product is formed in between the cathode and anode. This is the example for differential aeration corrosion, and it is known as waterline corrosion, generally takes place in the water tanks. The other type of corrosion is pitting corrosion. This is also an example for the differential aeration corrosion. So here this is the metal, iron metal surface, and when the iron metal surface is having any small cracks on the surface, then that, for example, this V-shaped structure is the crack which is formed on the metal surface. So this part will feel less oxygen, so it will act as the anodic part, whereas the remaining part of the iron metal, that will be exposed to high concentration of air, hence this will act as the cathodic part. Now after the anodic form, then what will happen? Again the same reaction, that is iron will undergo oxidation and it will form Fe plus 2 and 2 electrons. So this Fe plus 2 will enter into the electrolytic solution, whereas the electrons will move through the metal, because here iron is the conductor. So through the metal the electrons will move towards the cathodic area and their hydroxide ions are formed. Again the same reaction, that is OH minus ions will migrate towards the anode, whereas the metal ions will migrate towards the cathode. And in between the anode and cathode, here you can observe this is the rust which is formed in between the anode and cathode. So this type of mechanism is known as the pitting corrosion. Pitting corrosion is possible when the metals are having small holes or small pits on its surface, and generally pits may be formed, means holes may be formed on the metal surface when a overload is dragged over the metal, or when any chemicals will attack on the metal, or when we cut the metal into pieces, by the time because of the cut edges also pits will be formed on the metal surface, and when it is exposed to the air which is having sufficient amount of moisture, that will leads to the pitting corrosion. This is pitting corrosion which will takes place when the metal surface is having pits on it. Pit means one type of hole. Crevice corrosion. This is also one of the other type of corrosion. You might have observed when two metals are connected with a screw type of thing or with a crevice type of thing. Means when two metals are joined with a bolt or with a joint, at that place the corrosion will take place. At that place formation of rust will be observed. This is known as the crevice corrosion. This is also an example for differential aeration corrosion. Here also, where we are having the joining between two metals, there that part of the metal will be exposed to the less concentration of air, hence it will act as the anode, whereas the other part of the metal will be exposed to high concentration of air, and that part will act as the cathodic part. So at the crevice only the metal will undergo corrosion and rust will be formed near the crevice, means near the joints or bolts, nuts, at that places. So that type of corrosion is known as the crevice corrosion. So up to this we have discussed about the different types of corrosion, mainly two types, dry corrosion and wet corrosion. So now coming to the other topic in the corrosion chapter, that is the factors affecting corrosion. So what are the different factors which are influencing the rate of corrosion, that we will discuss in this. So here we are having mainly two factors. One is the metal which is undergoing corrosion, and other is the corrosive environment which is attacking on the metal. So obviously the factors will be which are affecting the rate of corrosion. They are the metal and the nature of metal and the nature of corroding environment. So first we will discuss about the factors due to nature of metal. Which characteristics of the metal are going to influence the rate of corrosion, that we will discuss under this category. So first coming to the purity of metal. So if the metal is pure, then it will not undergo any type of corrosion, because mostly metals will be covered by its oxide layer, so that will be acting as a protective layer. So if the metal is pure, then always it is having a protective layer and show resistance towards the corrosion. But if any impurities are present on the metal, then what will happen is tiny electrochemical cells are formed. Means if two metals are combined as a impurity, then among that the metal which is having the high oxidation potential, that will act as anodic part and that will be corroded, whereas the part of metal which is having the high low oxidation potential, that will act as the cathodic part and it will be protected from the corrosion. So if pure metals and pure alloys are present, they will show resistance towards the corrosion, and if any impurities are introduced into the metal, then only it will lead to different types of corrosions. Mainly galvanic corrosion will take place when the metals are having the impurities. So coming to the electrode potentials. and this is also comes under position of metal in the galvanic series. Both the factors will be of same, that is position of metal in the galvanic series. Galvanic series is nothing but the electrochemical series which we have discussed in the electrochemistry. So in that, the metals which are placed on the top of the galvanic series, they will be having the high oxidation potential, and the metals which are present below the electrochemical series or galvanic series, they will be having the high reduction potential and less oxidation potential. So based on the position of the metals, like the metals which are placed on the top of the series, they will act as anodic part always, because they will be having the high oxidation potential. So they will act as the anodic part and they will be corroded. Whereas the metals which are placed below hydrogen in the series, means at the bottom of the series, they will be having the high reduction potential, since they will act as the cathodic part and they will be protected from the corrosion. So according to the position of metal, that will decide whether the metal will act as either anodic part or cathodic part. Metals which are placed on the top of the series, they will act as the anodic part and will be corroded. Whereas the metals which are placed at the bottom of the series, they will be having the high reduction potential and they will act as the cathodic part and will be protected from the corrosion. And the extent of corrosion also depends upon the distance between the two metals. When two metals are joined, then the rate of corrosion, extent of corrosion will mainly depend upon the distance between the two metals. As the distance between the two metals in the electrochemical series increases, the extent of corrosion also increases. When we are joining two metals, if two metals are having high distance between them, then the rate of corrosion will be more. So that's why the reason when we are selecting two metals for joining, we have to see that the metals must be very close to each other in the electrochemical series. Means their electrode potential difference must be as low as possible, so that we can reduce the extent of corrosion. Now coming to the relative areas of anodic and cathode. Okay, on the electrochemical cell formation on the metals, the rate of corrosion will be based on the size of, means area of anode part and cathodic part. So rate of corrosion will be directly proportional to the cathodic area and inversely proportional to the anodic area. Means if the cathodic area is small, then rate of corrosion will be less, and if the anodic area is more, then also the rate of corrosion will be less. Means rate of corrosion will be directly proportional to cathodic area. For example, if we are having the small size for the cathodic area, what is the cathodic reaction taking place? There non-metallic ions are produced, means that require the electrons, because it is the reduction reaction taking place at the cathodic part. So at the cathode we require the electrons. If cathodic area is small, less amount of electrons are required, and if the cathodic area is large, more amount of electrons are required, so that that will initiate the metal to undergo more oxidation to release a more amount of electrons. So always rate of corrosion will be less when the cathodic area is small and when the anodic area is large. So this is about the relative areas of anode and cathode formed on the electrochemical cell. The other factor is hydrogen over voltage. This is over voltage. Hydrogen over voltage is nothing but the additional energy required for any electrochemical reaction to takes place normally. So for example, zinc, when we add zinc to the sulfuric acid, then what will happen? Zinc will react with the sulfate ions and it will form the ZnSO4 and hydrogen gas will be evolved. So that is the reaction. But initially, because of the high over voltage of the zinc, initial rate of reaction will be slow. But when we add some few drops of copper sulfate, then what will happen? The rate of reaction will increase. Why it will increase is because copper is cathodic to zinc, so that it will accelerate the reaction, accelerate the oxidation reaction of the zinc. So that is known as hydrogen over voltage. That is the extra energy required. Please, dear students, please don't write anything on the screen, ma'am. That will be visible to all. Abhilash,
Madam.
is it audible to you, Nana?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any disturbance?
No, ma'am.
But some people are writing. Who are they? Are you able to see?
లేదు మ్యామ్ తెలీదు ఎవరు రాస్తున్నారు.
Is it okay? Understandable to you?
ఎస్ మ్యామ్.
Okay, then I will continue. So hydrogen over voltage. When we add zinc to the sulfuric acid, initial rate of oxidation reaction will be less because of the high over voltage of the zinc. And when we add few drops of copper sulfate, then that will accelerate the reaction, so that the rate of reaction is going to increase. So because copper is cathodic to the zinc, and it will accelerate the reaction. Now coming to the physical state of the metal. So here, for example, physical state means the same solid, same metal may be in the form of a compact state, pure solid state, or maybe in the form of a powder state. So the rate of corrosion will be more for the metal if the metal is available in the form of powder, because that will dissolve easily into the electrolyte or in the corroding environment. So the solid, compact solids will have less extent of corrosion compared to that of the powdered form. For the same metal, if the metal is in the powdered form, then it will have high rate of corrosion, whereas if it is available in the form of compact state, it will have less extent of corrosion. Coming to the nature of surface film. So surface film is for all the metals mostly the oxide film will act as a protective layer. Okay, and if the layer is having, don't write anything on the screen, students. If the surface film is more than the metal area, then it will act as the protective layer, means it will completely cover the metal surface, and it will act as the protective layer. It will not have any form of pores on it, because when the area of surface film is more than the metal, it will properly and completely covers the metal surface, and it will act as a protective layer. And in the other case, if the surface film is having less area than the metal, then what will happen? In some places the surface film will have the pores, and through that pores again the atmospheric gases will attack on the metal, and that will lead to the severe corrosion. So rate of corrosion will mainly based on the nature of surface film. If the surface film is non-porous in nature, means it is completely covering the metal surface, then it will act as a protective layer. In that case, rate of corrosion will be less. And if the surface film is having the pores on its surface, then rate of corrosion will be high for that. And one more important topic, that is the nature of metal. This is very important among the nature of metal which is influencing the rate of corrosion, that is passivity of metal. There are some metals like titanium, aluminum, chromium, nickel, So these metals, they will be having the high passivity towards the corrosion, means they will show some kind of resistance towards the corrosion than expected from that metal with their position in the galvanic series. Means they will show resistance towards the corrosion than what we are expecting from its oxidation potential. So that metals are known as the passive metal. The passive metals are titanium, aluminum, chromium, cobalt, nickel. So these metals will show passivity because of their oxide film. Especially these metals will have a special oxide layer, and that oxide layer is having self-healing capacity. It is very thin. Its thickness is 0.404 mm, but even then, means very minute layer, but even then it is acting as a protective layer, because by any reason if the layer is broken, again it will be reformed. And because of that self-healing capacity, some of the metals are showing passivity towards the corrosion, and that metals are known as the passive metals, like titanium, aluminum, chromium, nickel, and cobalt. So these metals are known as the passive metals, which will show resistance towards the corrosion than what we are expecting from their position in the galvanic series. So this is about some of the factors, that is the nature of metal, which are influencing the rate of corrosion. So in the exam, generally it will be asked like this. They will be given some characteristics of metal and characteristics of the environment. They will ask you to write something about that for maybe 2 marks or 3 marks. Means altogether they may give 3 or 4 factors, and you have to describe how that factors are going to influence the rate of corrosion. For that, maybe 10 marks or maybe 6 marks. Generally essay question will be given from the factors which are influencing the rate of corrosion. So now coming to the nature of corrosive environment. So here some of the factors which are influencing the environment. So that is, first one is temperature. So generally you all know, for any chemical reaction, corrosion is also one type of chemical reaction. For any chemical reaction, the rate of reaction increases as the temperature increases. So for the corrosion also, as the temperature increases, rate of corrosion increases. All the metals will undergo oxidation corrosion at the high temperature. So as the temperature increases, rate of corrosion also increases. Next is the humidity in air. So presence of moisture is very important for the electrochemical corrosion to take place. And as the moisture content increases in the surrounding environment, the rate of corrosion also increases, because it will absorb all the gases. The moisture will absorb the atmospheric gases, so that the rate of corrosion on the metal surface is going to increase. And because of the rainwater, if the rainwater is falling on the metal with the force, then the oxide layer will be broken, so that the metal will be exposed to the air. So that presence of humidity every time is going to increase the rate of corrosion. Presence of impurities, this will be observed. Presence of impurities will be observed in the industrial areas, where many kind of gases will be liberated into the surrounding environment, and also some particles, like maybe particles of sodium chloride and ammonium sulfate. So that will be deposited on the metal surface, and that will leads to the corrosion. At the end of the session, I will give you time for any doubts, Nana. Please don't disturb now. So also impurities like charcoal particles, which will flow in the industrial area, and that will deposit on the metal surface. So that will also leads to the corrosion. So always presence of impurities in the air will leads to the high rate of corrosion. The impurities are nearby the industrial area, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, H2S, phosphine, such kind of gases, and also oxides of nitrogen, that gases, and also some of the particles like sodium chloride, ammonium sulfate, and charcoal, such kind of particles also will influence the rate of corrosion. Coming to the pH value, as we have already discussed that presence of acids will increase the rate of corrosion. Acids will directly attack on the metals and they will convert the metals into their derivatives. So acidic pH is suitable for the corrosion. So under acidic pH means pH below 7, metals will undergo rapid corrosion, whereas basic and neutral pH will be having the low rate of corrosion. So pH value will also influence the rate of corrosion. Acidic pH will have high rate of corrosion than the basic and neutral pH. Amount of oxygen in the atmosphere. So for all the wet electrochemical corrosion to takes place, we need the oxygen that we have already discussed. For example, this is the reaction which is taking place at the cathode, and if the environment or air is having sufficient amount of oxygen, then only the cathodic reaction will takes place to form the OH minus ions. So as the concentration of or amount of oxygen increases in the air, the rate of corrosion also increases. And if the amount of oxygen is less nearby the metal, then again the ferrous hydroxide will not be converted to rust. So these are all the factors which are influencing the rate of corrosion. Till now we have discussed about Till now we have discussed about the different types of corrosion and the factors which are influencing the corrosion. So if we learn about that topic, that is not sufficient. We should also know about how to control the corrosion. So that will comes under the corrosion control method. Students, if you are not interested, some of you can leave, but don't disturb the others. So here are some of the corrosion control method. Like in our syllabus, we are having only cathodic protection and surface coatings. So proper designing, that is by giving the proper designing to the structure, to some extent we can reduce the corrosion. If the material, whatever we are designing, if that material is having the uniform air exposure, then the rate of corrosion will be reduced. So that is known as the proper designing to the metal. And use of pure metal. If impurities are present in the metals, then tiny electrochemical cells are formed. So that will leads to the corrosion. So if we are using pure metals, to some extent we can reduce the corrosion. And using the metal alloys, when we are using the alloys, generally alloys will show resistance towards the corrosion. So instead of using the metal, single metal, if we are able to use the metal alloys, so that to some extent we can reduce the corrosion. Modifying the environment. If the environment is having sufficient amount of moisture and sufficient amount of oxygen, then only that will leads to the corrosion. And in modifying the environment, if we are able to remove moisture, as well as if we are able to remove the gases and like oxygen, carbon dioxide from the environment nearby the metals, so that to some extent we can reduce the rate of corrosion. Use of inhibitors. substances that will inhibit the rate of corrosion. So if we use such kind of materials as a paint on the metals, to some extent we can reduce the rate of corrosion. So all these factors we are not having in our syllabus. We have in our syllabus, one is the cathodic protection and other one is the surface coatings. So now we will discuss about the cathodic protection. So in all the different types of corrosion what we have discussed up to now, the metal which is acting as the anodic part, that is undergoing corrosion, and the metal which is acting as the cathodic part, that will be protected from the corrosion. So if we want to protect any metal from the corrosion, we have to convert that metal into cathode, so that will be protected from the corrosion, and that process is known as a cathodic protection. That is the method of protecting the base metal by making it to behave like a cathode. By any method, if we are able to convert the base metal into cathode, then we will be able to protect the metal from the corrosion, and this process is known as the cathodic protection. And that cathodic protection can be done by two methods. One is the sacrificial anodic method, other one is the impressed current cathodic method. The first one is the sacrificial anodic method. In sacrificial anodic method, one of the metal will be sacrificing itself by acting as an anode. So in this method, generally the metallic structure which we want to protect from the corrosion, that will be connected to another metal which is having more active, means which is having high oxidation potential. So that what will happen, the metal which we are connecting, that metal is more active, means it will act as the anodic part and it will protect our desired material from the corrosion, because the more active metal will act as a anodic part. So we are attaching in this method, in sacrificial anodic method, the metallic structure which we want to protect, that is connected to more anodic metal, means the metal which is having high oxidation potential like zinc and magnesium, so that this more anodic metal will act as the anodic part and the metallic structure will act as the cathodic part, so that our metallic structure will be protected from the corrosion. So here, for protecting our metallic structure, the more anodic metal, more active metal is sacrificing itself. So it is known as the sacrificial anodic method. Generally, zinc and magnesium will be used as a sacrificial anode to protect the metallic structure. For example, here, this is the base metal which we want to protect, and we are connecting through a wire, we are connecting this structure to a more active metal, so that this will be undergoing corrosion because it is acting as an anodic part, whereas our base metal will be protected from the corrosion. And this method is also useful for the protecting the ship hulls, like ship hulls, on the ship hull that is made with steel or iron, and that will be connected to either zinc or magnesium, so that this zinc, whenever it is flowing in the water, when the ship is flowing in the water, this zinc will act as the anodic part and it will undergo corrosion, whereas the ship material, that will act as the cathodic part and it will be protected from the corrosion. So sacrificial anodic method is generally helpful for protecting the underground pipelines as well as the ship hulls. Okay, so here this is a underground pipeline and this is the iron pipeline. To protect this iron pipeline, generally a magnesium rod will be connected, so that when it is exposed, because when this iron is exposed to the air, when this iron is exposed to the air, then what will happen? In presence of moisture, this iron pipe will undergo electrochemical corrosion. But here, when we are connecting the iron pipe to a magnesium rod, this magnesium rod will act as the anodic part and it will be corroded, whereas our iron pipe will act as the cathodic part and it will be protected from the corrosion. This is for preventing the underground iron pipes from the corrosion by using the sacrificial anodic method. And when this magnesium rod will undergo complete corrosion, it will be replaced with the new rod. So here the magnesium is sacrificing itself to protect the iron, hence it is known as the sacrificial anodic method. The other method is impressed current cathodic method. So in this method, like corrosion is one type of chemical reaction where current is flowing in between the cathode and anode. So here by any method, if we are able to supply, like maybe by using a battery or some other source, if we are able to Ablash,
హలో మ్యామ్.
Ablash,
మ్యామ్ మాకు మ్యాథ్స్ క్లాస్ ఉంది మ్యామ్ 12కి.
12 kanana.
అవును మ్యామ్.
Shall we close it now? Okay, within 2 minutes I will close. Okay na?
ఓకే.
Okay na. So here by using a battery, we are going to apply an electric current little higher than the corrosion current. Then what will happen is the anodic part will become cathode and it will be protected from the corrosion, whereas the cathodic part will become anodic part and it will be undergoing corrosion. So in this method, like if we want to protect this pipeline from the corrosion by using the impressed current cathodic method, by using a battery, the negative part of the battery, negative terminal of the battery is connected to the pipeline which has to be protected, so that it will act as the cathode, and the positive terminal of the battery will be connected to some neutral electrode, like maybe of a graphite, and which will be backfilled in the gypsum, so that it will give electrical contact to this pipeline. So by using the impressed current cathodic method also, we are going to protect the buried pipelines. So we'll stop here for today, and tomorrow we will discuss about the surface coatings, the other type of method to control the corrosion.